Hello, Catholic Life. My name is Jacob Greco. I'm a first year physical therapy student here at Dayton, and I hope this video finds you well. I hope you are having a fruitful Lent so far. I'd like to share a story today of my friend Sam, who I just caught up with the phone. I caught up on the phone with yesterday, and during this year, he was taking a gap year as an AmeriCorps Vista, and he's working as a director of student activities at Red Cloud Indian School in Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, South Dakota. So quite a very big change for him, something he really had to adjust to. And just before I get into Sam's story, I'd just like to read the mission statement from Red Cloud Indian School. It says, "The mission of Red Cloud Indian School, a Catholic institution administered by the Jesuits and the Lakota people, is to develop and grow as a vibrant church through an education of the mind and spirit that promotes Lakota and Catholic values." So, as Sam was telling me about his story, he was looking for things to do after college, and he applied a couple of similar AmeriCorps programs and also to a graduate program, and he didn't get accepted, unfortunately, but he came across this old magazine of different volunteer opportunities and was just kind of highlighting through and just, throwing his name in the hat and came upon this fair to advertise for such programs. So he attended it. It was virtual, and found and met with the director of this program here at the reservation in South Dakota. And so he wanted to get involved with stuff with education, and this offered that opportunity. And he also got the opportunity he was promised the opportunity to coach basketball and be involved with other sports. So he took on the challenge, and I guess I'll save his little very neat detail to the very end of the story. So he moved out there in July and used to the basketball team, and he told me that the style of basketball is actually very different. They play a lot of full court press. It's a lot of very fast paced play, and that was hard to adjust to, especially having never formally coached before. And he was in charge of coaching their C team, which is essentially JV. And some of these kids had never really played formal basketball before, so he was really starting from scratch. But he found it very rewarding that he could really see some marked progression throughout the season for some of these kids. And there was even one kid who hit a three-pointer in the last game, and the whole team went crazy. And that was a big highlight for him. And also, he had a living situation with a lot of other AmeriCorps Vistas, and kind of in tying in with the Dayton Marianist value of community. They have a lot of nice built-in community aspects to the program. So, for example, they cook once a night for each other, and so Sam's gotten to experiment in the kitchen. That's been a nice way to meet the people he's living with. And I guess the other major detail to include here is that the his big before he goes home in about 5, 6 weeks, is he's in charge of organizing their prom. So it's a big undertaking, but all in all, he's found it very rewarding. And for at times it being so difficult, he told me that sometimes he would wake up and, waking up out of bed, he would just not want to go, and just because of it just was so new. And it it took a it took a while for the people to accept him, and it was just hard to adjust to all of that, if that makes sense. But he really felt called to this, and he had recently got into some very contemplative prayer. And so he really felt God was calling him to this. And after he had recently accepted the position, he was driving back home after, I think, a break from school. And he was behind this big truck. And on the back of the truck was this bumper sticker that said Lakota, which is the native people who live in at that reservation. So he really felt that that was God confirming that he had made the right decision. So I think Sam's testament is very much echoes the idea of following God's will and being a listener, being a listener in prayer, which was a good reminder to me because I feel I've gotten away from that and something that I'm working towards, especially during this Lent. And so I'd asked Sam for prayer intentions, and he would like us to pray for the Lakota people, especially for the students who are going on for secondary education, because a lot of their elders do not have that experience of secondary education. So they don't have those family ties to rely on for advice or resources. And so he'd like us to pray for their strength and perseverance through their schooling, that if they want secondary education, that they're able to receive that. And so as I close here, I would just also like to shout out Kevin and Nick, who are in my Bible study. We're a small but mighty three-person Bible study, but it's been a great semester with you guys. So I pray for all of you for a good rest of your Lenten season, and God bless.